Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Cheryl and I run a handmade business called Hag-a-needle Handmade Creations. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a zipper wristlet purse. Super easy, can be used with scraps of fabric. So stay tuned. These are what I'm talking about. They're just small little purses, little wristlets that you can carry around. These pop easily into big purses, and then you can just grab them and take them in the store instead of carrying in that big purse. So what you will need for this purse, this is fusible interfacing, meaning this side has the glue on it and you iron this on your fabric. For the wristlet, you're going to need one of these. This makes the key fob wristlet. You'll need one of these to put on the purse, a zipper, and I get my zippers, I get them longer than what you need, and I'll show you how I do this. A rotary cutter, fabric, two different kinds of fabric or all the same. This is my outer layer. Here's my inner. Right now I'm using this to iron. This is just a wool mat. And then you will need a ruler and an iron. And I think that's it. A sewing machine and thread. Okay, let's get started. I will post a link to all the supplies. I have a link for the fabric, for the fusible interfacing and zippers, and these two items. I can post a link where you can get all this. The rest is you either have it or you can search on Amazon for the rulers and stuff. So the first thing that you're going to do, like this right here was a fat quarter, and I just need to iron it to get all the wrinkles out of it, or as much as I can, which this has been folded for probably a year. I just found it the other day and I thought, oh, perfect. So this is the first thing you're going to want to do. I do not wash my fabric before sewing it. Okay, this fabric right here is the outer fabric, and you're going to be cutting it 6.5 inches long. I'm going to call this long. And this outer fabric, you need to have your pattern going the correct way. So we're going to cut this 6.5 inches. My ruler just so happens to be 6.5 inches, so that makes it super easy. Okay, now that you've got that cut, you want to make sure you cut off the ends because it is the salvage. So just trim that off. And now we're going to cut. I have my fabric folded over when I cut it. So we are going to now cut it 9 inches wide this way. And this is your 2 pieces for your outer zipper wristlet. Which the reason I said you could use scrap fabric, because you can actually get another purse out of this. But right now we're going to cut for the wristlet, the key fob, and you're going to cut it 4 inches wide. If I can get my ruler right. Holy cow. There we go. 4 inches wide. And then you're going to cut it by by 14. Be 14 inches long. So this is for your key fob, the wristlet part. So set that aside. Okay, for the part that you hang on, let me grab one of these. For the tab that you're putting this on, we're going to cut that now. So this is going to stay 4 inches, this is 4 inches wide, and you're only going to cut it 2.5 inches. So you're just using your scraps and just cutting 2.5 inches. And this is leftover. Okay, I'm running out of room. Okay. Now, oh, I forgot to cut my inner. Sorry. I'm going to erase all this. Okay, this is the fat quarter, and it didn't iron out very well, but that's okay. And I'm just going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut this the same like I did the outer layer. 6.5 inches. And I'm going to trim this off. And then 9 inches. So really, you could get a couple of fat quarters. What are they? Sometimes $1.50, and you're making a purse for $3, somewhere around there. Okay, after that's done, I had a scrap piece of the Fusible interfacing. So I'm going to cut this. Now I'm going to cut this a little different. You're going to want to size it down a little. So I'm going 6 inches by about, not all the way 9, a little over 8.5. And you'll need 2 of these. And we're going to put these on the outer fabric. And this is super easy to use. And it fuses very nicely. Oh, I need my... Okay. Okay, this is the bottom of my purse. And you want to move this down, not all the way to the bottom, just leave a little bitty gap, a bigger gap at the top, because this is where we're going to do our zipper. And then flip it over. Make sure that you have, it's a rough side. Make sure you have it against your fabric, because that's where the glue is. I got it too. And you don't want it overlapping on the outsides. And then just press. And then you want to do the same thing on this one. Kind of line it up near the bottom. Don't let it overlap on the sides. You want a little bit of space here. Let me move a little closer. See how I've got it lined up? Just about like that. You want more space up here because that's where the zipper is going to go. And if you're afraid of doing zippers, I was terrified to do zippers, and I finally learned how to do it. And now it's just super easy. I had to watch a video like 15 times to get it correctly, but I think I've got it down pat now. Once you get the hang of this, you will whip these out like crazy. I love making these. I actually carry one. Okay, now that that's done, do you remember this little piece that's four inches by 2.5? You're going to take it and fold it in half. And then where your crease is, you'll fold this side, fold it up to the crease. And then do the other side to the crease. And then fold it over. In a few minutes, we're going to take this to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew right on the edge, right down the edge right here and right here, and then we'll fold it, and we'll put, if I can find it, we'll put this on it. Well, I'm having issues. We'll put this on it for it to be added to the purse. So put this by your sewing machine. And we're going to do the key fob, which is the same as what we just did with the little tab. You're going to fold it in half. Oops, sorry. And then we will fold it to the seam. And do the other side. And then this is the Fusible fleece, and it is cut to 3/4 inch, not an inch, but 3/4 inch. And you're going to just put it in here, push it all the way back to the fold. Doesn't matter which way you put this one in, because you're going to iron it. Okay, then fold this over, press it one more time. There's a lot of iron to do this. I just feel like ironing helps keep everything in place. And then when we're done sewing, we'll cut this little tab off. Take that to your machine. And now we're going to work on the zipper. Which I don't know where it went. Okay, one moment. Okay, I found it. Okay, now do not be intimidated. This is really easy once you get going. I'm going to get my pins. Okay, you're going to lay the zipper down. Now, this is one reason I like using one of these wool mats, and I'll show you. Just like this. This is way too long for the project I'm doing, which is great. And again, you'll see why. Well, this is the front side, the good side of my lining. And you're going to take the zipper. The zipper part right here is up. Leave it zipped, but I just want you to make sure that this is up. And I push mine to where you don't really want it like this. You want to keep it, because we are going to cut this off. So with these wool mats, I can just take and pin it for now, like this. And this pink zipper matches this lining so well that it's hard to see. Okay, this is your outer layer. This is the way it goes. So you just take it and you lay it on top, line it up. Line this up with your inner fabric. Just like that. Now, I forgot to mention that these clips that I'm going to use do come in very handy with making these if you want to use them. I will use that later. So now what you're going to do is, now you're going to pin this. Everything's lined up. So now you just pin this on here. Oops. Oh, I messed that one up. Just like that. And it is ready to sew. Okay, the first thing we're going to sew is this tab. And I'm trying to get you in here close. I'm just going to, my needle's right here. I'm just going to sew right there. Right there. I don't even have a measurement for that. And you're just going to sew all the way down, and then you're going to turn it and sew all the way down just this side, just like that. And once you have this done, then you're just going to fold it over, grab your little hardware, and then you're just going to sew along here. Don't sew up way up here. Sew right down here. Do it a couple, times back and forth just to keep it on. I'll show you real fast. Just like that. This part right here is going inside your layers, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. The only part that the people will see will be this outside up here. The next thing that you're going to do is go ahead and sew up your key fob. And you're going to use the same concept as you did with the tab. Sew it all the way down one side and then turn it and sew down the other. And just like the tab that you made, you'll want to sew this together. Do it a couple of times just near the end. And we'll put the key fob hardware on after we get the bag sewn, but here's what it looks like. Okay, we're going to move on to the body. So you have this is your zipper right here facing up. I do not put a zipper foot on. If you are a zipper professional, you do it how you do it, but I don't use a zipper foot. I am going to move my needle. I'll show you. Let's see if I can get in close. I'm going to move my needle all the way over to the left. Whoops. See that? Okay. I'm going to line my foot up with the zipper. Let me show you that. Sometimes it's hard to explain without actually showing it up close. And I know my lighting is awful. See how my foot's lined up? That's where we're going to sew. And I'm going to do a back stitch when I start. And you want to take your time doing it so that you don't either go over the zipper or miss all the fabric altogether. But you can kind of tell. I keep my finger right in here so I can feel the zipper so I'm not getting my foot over. I have accidentally done that. I've run the foot right over the zipper. So if you go slow, all the way, back stitch, and there you go. So now we need to iron. After I get these ends cut off, let's go back over to the ironing. Okay, now you're going to take these and put them together like this. And the reason we need to iron is to get the bulkiness down. See how it kind of bulks up in there? And we're going to take the iron, and you want to hold your zipper, and you just kind of want to pull. Try not to keep your iron on that zipper too long if you're using plastic, which that's what I use, because to tell you the truth, I've not used metal because I don't really know how you sew over them. And then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to do the same thing here. You just want to pull your iron down just to get that bulkiness out at the very top. That's why I don't put the interfacing all the way close to the top. Okay, now we're going to take this back to the machine. You do get a workout when you do these. That's a bonus. Okay, do you see which way I have this laying? It's laying to the left. And again, you're going to line the foot up with your zipper. See how I did that? And we're going to sew all the way across. Now this is going to keep the bag and the lining from moving around a lot. You know, like when it just keeps it down, and then you don't have to try to sew this small thing around in a circle. I don't think I'm making any sense, but okay, back over here. Okay, this is what we're going to do next. This is our inside layer. You lay it face up, which on this one, there is no face up. They're both the same. Face up. And we're going to line the top part of the zipper up here. I should have used a different color zipper. Ouch. Okay, now we're going to take our top layer like this and turn it over. Ooh, got some fuzzies on it. And line it up with the top part of the zipper. And make sure it's lined up with the sides of your bag. Now the bottom of your bag is not going to line up because you're on the top part of the zipper. This took me a while to understand this. Okay? See how it doesn't line up, but you want the sides to line up. Now we're going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm not going to show this part because we just did it. And you're going to start right here and sew all the way down, just like you did on the other side. Okay, now you're going to take the side you just sewn and the inner side, and it's going to look like this. And we're going to iron this side to get the bulkiness down. And then flip it over and do this side. And then we're going to take it to the sewing machine. You're going to put the side you're going to sew. This will point out to your left. And believe it or not, we're almost done. Okay, so lay it out like this. And you want to take your outer fabric and pull it together. And then you want to pin it. The first place I pin is by the zipper. Now, the zipper, this is what took me forever to understand. This zipper, I'm going to start on this side, just seems to automatically want to fold up. So we're going to keep it like that. And you want to try to line it up as best you can. And then pin right, either right on it or right in front of it to hold it in place. Okay? And then go to the other side. Okay? Now, right when you do that, hold it at the top, and now we're going to unzip it. Not all the way, but you need to make sure you do this step because you're going to have to turn our purse inside out. So I go about right there, just like that. And I'm going to pin this zipper to hold it in place. Now I'm going to go around and, well, I forgot to add the little tab. Okay, I put my tab where the zipper pull starts. So it'd be this end that I just unzipped. And you're going to put it in like, no, like this. Do not leave this out. This goes inside. And I put it kind of close to the top, not all the way. You can really put it anywhere you want. There's a finger space where I put mine. And that's where these clips come in, because then you can just clip that on there. Now make sure when you're putting this tab in, you're putting it on your outer fabric. If you put it on the inner fabric, then you're going to have a tab inside your purse. And I also wanted to add, you can cut these as big or small as you want. I just like this size. It seemed to work out, ouch, pretty good. Yeah, and watch those needles too. And if you watch any of my other tutorials, you know I'm not a professional. I don't talk to you like I'm scripted. I just simply fly by the seat of my pants. I try to explain everything I can. Sometimes I'm just not good at it. Okay, this is the bottom of your lining. You are going to leave a gap about this 3 inches. Let me measure so I can be a little more exact. Yeah, 3 inches. So leave about a 3-inch gap. You will not sew here. Right there. No sewing. Okay? When we get to the machine, okay, the no sewing area. We're going to start at the second pin. And again, another important move. I almost messed it up. Move your needle back to the center. Okay, don't forget that. And we're starting at the second needle. And I am starting on I really don't know what this measurement is. It's a 10 on my sewing machine. This is why I claim that I am not a professional. It is this right here, right there is where I'm starting. That's where my fabric will be. Please don't laugh at me if you're a professional sewer. Okay, we're going to back stitch, and then we're going to sew all the way around to that first needle. Now you're coming up on the zipper. And you might have to help it just a little. My zipper's moved. Okay. You're just going to sew right across it. And keep on going. Oops. Okay, now we're getting to the tab, and that's one of the reasons I like using these clippies, because then I know what I'm getting to. So we're going to slowly go over, and then you're going to back stitch, because you have to remember this tab is what's holding your purse when you're carrying it. So you want it to be nice and strong. And then we're going to get right to the zipper. And we're almost finished. We're going to sew to this. We're going to back stitch. And there we go. We're almost done. Okay, now what we're going to do is trim the corners. Make sure when you're cutting that you don't actually cut into your thread, but you just want to trim them like that. That helps take the bulky out of the corner. And then you're going to trim off your zippers. That's why it doesn't matter if you get them way too long, which I like to get mine longer, like I said. You go around and trim all the corners on the outer fabric and the inner fabric. Okay. Now, if you remember to unzip your purse, this will be really easy. If you pull one of my stunts, then it won't be. So you can actually reach your hand in there if you want it open wider. Now, all you do is you're just going to go in, grab a corner, pull it through that hole that you left in your inner fabric, because we're going to sew this up in a minute. And I do not have anything that I poke the corners out. I don't have like your proper things that you use to poke your corners out. I use a crochet hook. Works fine. I do know you don't want to push real hard, or you can push all the way through the fabric. This is to help pop your corners out. Okay, I don't want to push too hard. Okay, there's one more step and you're done. I promise. So you have a hole in your bag. What you're going to do is it just naturally folds because you've got it sewn. So you're just going to iron it. And you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to start right here, right before the opening, and sew a little bit after the opening. Just sew as close to the edge as you can, catching both pieces of fabric. Back stitch, back stitch. This is what I mean. And then you just want to get your lining in, get it in the corners real good. Sometimes you need to pop this out where the zipper is. Zip it closed. Guess what we're going to do? Iron. This just gives it a crisper look, in my opinion. Plus the fact you want to make sure you didn't put one side upright and one side the wrong way, because I have done that. Okay, now we are on to the key fob. So I do have a tutorial on the key fob, but I can show you real fast so you don't have to go back and forth between videos. And you could probably find a better person to show you how to do a key fob because I don't do it correctly. I do use glue. You do not have to. I use it just because I feel like it's going to keep fraying down on the sewn, the edges here. If you do, I was at one point doing the zigzag stitch at the end, but now I just use glue. A serger would be better, and I have one sitting here, but I don't know how to thread it. Anyways, we're not going to talk about that. So you just put it in there. Like this. This has got these little, I don't know if my camera will focus to show you, but this is what grips your fabric to keep it in there. So I just set it in there for just a second or two. Get it lined up, because sometimes these like to move on you when you're... Now this is where it's not the proper way, but it works for me because it helps me. If I need to, I can move it around to get my sides in better. It's still not the proper way. And then you do it the proper way. I think in the link that I'm going to put, this tool right here is what you need. It's got the rubber on them. This is very important, the rubber part, because you don't want to scratch up your key fob hardware. And I did get it a little out of place. I'll have to make another one, but you get the gist of it. Actually, I think I got it. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. This is what it ends up looking like. And then, because you have this on there, you just clip it on and you have yourself a wristlet. Voila. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said before, I'm not a professional. I don't have scripted lines. I just pretty well tell it how it is. And my videos are normally longer when we make stuff because, for one thing, I lost my little clicker that you can start and stop the video. I'm pretty sure I left it in my pants pocket and I washed it. But that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please subscribe, like it, leave me a comment. I love when people leave me comments. It makes my day. I do have a playlist. You can see what I do on a weekly basis. I'm just keeping it real. Thanks again, guys.